What's going on, guys? Giuseppe here. We are here to break it down. What the hell is the Arex Rex 01? What's good about it? What's bad about it? Where did it come from? What does it do that your gun can't do? Why might you want one? We are going to touch upon all of these answers right here, right now, at this blunt, honest, at-home review by yours truly. I just do this for fun. I don't get a ton of views. People probably don't even care what I have to say. But I have my own perspective, my own experiences with these guns. They are my own. No one gives me anything. And I think that I might have some insight that, you know, when you add it all together, you might be able to make a good decision on purchases. And I just might help. So let's get into it. This gun is just a copy of this gun, the Sig Sauer 229-226 series. But who gives a shit? Nobody cares who made it first. We just care who made it better. Cough, cough, Glock. That's just a VP70 copy. Nobody likes mushy triggers and rectangular grips. Get out of the 1980s, boys. But I digress. This is a war-proven gun. Battle-proven. Tons of departments, Secret Service, you know, like you name it. People have used it. That's actually why I bought this gun originally. I had a good friend who was a Secret Service agent, and that's what he carried, a SIG. It was either a 226 or 229, and I was like, oh my god, if it's good enough for the Secret Service agent, it is good enough for me. I mean, his gun looked like he dragged it behind a truck on the street for like miles. It was awesome. And somebody I looked up to, going shooting with him was embarrassing. He was so amazing. There is no one that could question the reliability and toughness, just track record of the 229, 226 series of pistols. This particular one is a 229 Scorpion Elite that goes for about, hold your breath, $1,250 MSRP. Yeah, that is a very high-end, expensive, ridiculous price tag for a pistol. But you know what, guys? My policy when it comes to pistols is kind of like if I was shopping for a bed or a doctor. You do not discount shop for something that can save your life and make a life-changing difference. You know, doctors, beds, guns. No reason to bargain shop when it comes to those. You know, find what you like. If you happen to like some of the awesome, cheaper options in the world, fantastic. But if you think something is really cool and it has a little bit higher price tag, you know, it's worth it. You know, it's worth it to splooge once in a while. Fuck it, guys. You know, guys, you only live once, and we never really grow up, so toys just get more expensive and on a different level. But yeah, $1,250 for this gun. This gun's going to be in the realm of like $750. So, way more reasonable. Is it as good? I mean, I'm going to say yes. If you want to watch the quick version of this video, you're already done watching it, yes. Definitely look into the Arex Rex 01. It every bit challenges and could surpass a 226, 229 fan. It does have some quirks, some things that you might not know about. Let's go over this thing real quick so we can go over the differences. This is the slide release, slide lock. This is just a decocker. Regular takedown lever, mag release. It has tritium night sights, regular 3-dot. It has a one-sided mag release, and these grips came on it. They are very aggressive, as you can see. There is some awesome texturing on the side. They look super cool, and the back has really great kind of like upward facing texturing. The trigger is sweet on this Scorpion Elite 229. I mean, really short reset, really smooth, crisp trigger pull with a nice clean break. Even the double action isn't that hard to pull, but I mean, guys, like I said, you're looking at a premium $1,250 gun. This one is chambered in 357 SIG. It was originally 40 caliber. But 40 blows and 357 SIG is awesome, so yeah, that was a no-brainer. Let's get this thing out of here. We don't need it anymore. I've explained it. Back to the Rex 01. This, let's just go over some of the negatives first, because there aren't that many, but there are a couple. These grips are not the stock grips. These are Hogue. They come in a couple different colors. I think this is like the desert tan maybe. They also have a black and gray, and I think they have one more. I think they look awesome. I bought them before I even got the gun. Like, they were here and then I got the gun. Like, that's how quick and how much I needed these grips, just because of the way they look. Now, when you actually get the Rex 01, you realize that you'll want these grips, not just because of the way they look, but the grips on the Arex Rex 01 are pretty slick. They are a rubberized grip, and they don't offer very much grip. So they are a rubberized piece of slippery paraphernalia. You're going to want to get rid of them, especially because we're going to go with the other downside to this pistol. The back serrations and the front serrations, as you can see, are vertical. When guns go off, they want to recoil like that. These vertical serrations, or stippling I should say, don't really do anything. This gun, especially with the rubberized grip, is pretty slippery in your hands. One good thing is that this is a heavy, big gun. This is the standard size, so it's about the size of a .226, but looks way cooler. It does not recoil very much. If it did recoil more, then these downsides might be more detrimental to the pistol's success. However, I don't think it is. The grip is big, it's comfortable, and with these aggressive Hogue grips, you can get a very nice purchase on this weapon. This is the safety. This is a combination of a slide lock, slide release, and decocker, and then your regular takedown lever. The only other downside to this gun that I really have is you have an ambidextrous mag release, but when you depress it, it actually goes out on both sides. So I find when I go to take the mag out sometimes, I have big hands, so maybe that's why, but I'll do this, and then my middle finger sometimes gets in the way, and I can't release the mag right away if I'm trying to do it kind of quickly, doing drills or something. It takes a conscious effort to bring my middle finger down, because normally you have your finger riding up really high, and then you go to do this, and then it will hit, and it actually won't release the mag. So if I were to carry this gun regularly, I would probably try to find a delete, or maybe shave that down so it didn't exist anymore. Something like that. I mean, or just train with it a lot and get used to getting my middle finger out of the way. Okay, now let's go over some of the quirks of this gun. I don't really consider them downsides. They're just something that you might want to take note of and that you might want to know before you bought it. Let's start with the safety. The safety is really awesome as it goes as far as safeties are concerned. I mean, this thing, it's so easy to actuate when you want to deactivate it. Reactivating it can be a little bit trickier with these Hogue grips because there's a little bit of an indent right here, and it just kind of molds right over it. But I mean, you can do it, but we're never in a rush to activate the safety. We're only in a rush to deactivate the safety, and deactivating this safety is a breeze, and it is ambidextrous, so that's kind of cool too. But one thing to note is you can rack the slide with the safety on, but if you go to rack the slide regularly with the safety on, you're going to jam yourself in the finger with this sharp point. Same thing, no matter how you do it, you're going to hit the safety. So while you can physically and technically rack the slide with the safety on, you're much better off with it not on, because then it is not in the way, you're not going to jam your finger, and it actually could stop you from racking it if you didn't just like slide over it and have it rub and scrape across the whole bottom of your hand. So while you technically can, you do not want to. That is to note. Another thing to note is this combination, slide release, slide lock, and decocker. If you go to lock the slide open and you baby it forward like that, sometimes, no, there we go, I got it to do it. Sometimes you do not activate the part of this mechanism that allows it to be a slide release. This does not happen while you're firing the gun. If you go empty on a mag, what happens is the recoil does not baby it forward. It actually slams forward the way it's supposed to. But if you're doing it yourself and you're being a little girl about it, it can do this. It can get into this little weird phase where it's going to be just kind of sitting there. If you do that little movement, boom, goes home. So this is more of just like stop being a pussy with your guns and just fucking rack it and then it'll go home. But yeah, like I said, if you just baby it and you're like, oh, I don't want it to go forward fast, it might do that. And then, like I said, if you want it to, just the slightest little, and then it'll work. Not a problem when you're running the gun, just something to note. Don't baby your slide forward if you're just locking it forward, and if you do, make sure you pull it, or else this will not work as a slide release. That is the end of anything bad about this gun, which is completely shadowed by the awesome parts of this gun. If you guys are not familiar with Mac's Gauntlet Test, get familiar with it, because they are awesome, they are entertaining. He claims they're not scientific and you can take what you want from it. I take a lot from it because even though they're a sample size of 1 and his variables do change slightly, guys, that is a clear representation of what you can expect from the guns that he tests. If you're looking to buy a gun, if you own a gun and you carry it often, look into his channel and look into these gauntlet tests, because if you ever get into an adverse situation with your weapon and you drop it in water, dirt, mud, sand, you want to know if it's going to fail right away. And if it is, you might not want to be carrying that gun. And that is why I bought this legendary gun. Why is it legendary when it just came out? Because this thing did better than any other gun he's ever tried. And when I say better, I mean it's flawless, guys. This thing went through his entire gauntlet test, being thrown in mud, dirt, sand, and water back to back without a single hiccup. No failures. No other gun can even attempt to do that except for the legendary H&K USP tank of a gun. Just tested it. Video just came out, and it almost rivaled the Arex Rex 01. I mean, it had one failure to go into battery, and that's it. He just had to tap it forward a little bit, and boom, he was ready to rock. This thing didn't even have that, guys, and that's why I bought this gun. I was like, oh my god, if I'm ever going backpacking, if I'm ever going through the mountains, if I ever might go into like a storm, might drop this thing when I really don't want to, in the mud, dirt, sand, you want a gun that's going to work all the time. This thing is the boss of bosses. And as we found out today, so can the HK series of pistols, the high-end ones. I would assume that the newer P30 and HK45, as they are upgrades to the USP series, may do as well. I mean, I would like for him to try that out. But this thing, undoubtedly incredible as far as reliability is concerned. I've fired about 1,000 rounds to it. I've never had a failure, but I've never thrown it into mud, dirt, or sand, but he did it for me, so I don't need to. Just a gleaming thumbs up when it comes to, will this thing work when you need it to? Absolutely. I mean, just destroyed SIG, destroyed Glock, like everything. I mean, it's just, this thing is amazing. I think the only things that came close were a couple CZ series of pistols, and like I said, the H&K almost did it. Almost. So close. I was rooting for it. But, yeah, I mean, just undoubtedly. The other amazing thing about this gun is the trigger. The single action trigger on this gun is, guys, you have a little bit of a take up, and then this thing has the most crisp rifle break ever. Oh my god, it's so good. It is so good. You will never feel the crisp trigger on a friggin' pistol like this thing. It is not light, but it is, by God, crisp as hell. Oh my god, it's so good. Your groups will be thanking you for having this trigger. The reset is not the best in the world. Little bit long, little bit of take up. But like I said, oh my god, the crisp, it's a glass rod. If there's ever a glass rod in a pistol, it's this thing. It's unbelievable. Sort of a downside, but not really, because this gun's meant to be cocked and locked. You're supposed to carry it cocked and locked. You can carry it in double action, but the double action pull is like He-Man. It's like, you know, it's crazy. It's probably like 12 pounds. Very serious double action pull. Like I said, it's probably by intention because this gun's meant to be cocked and locked. I mean, the safety is one of the best safeties I've ever encountered. Maybe the EEA Witness, they have some pretty fantastic safeties too. But, I mean, this thing is just so easy to actuate. I mean, just the slightest little, I mean, the serrations are perfect on the safety. Also, on the gun are fantastic. Press checks, like a breeze. When this thing's cocked and locked, I mean, this is just like awesome friggin' serrations back here, awesome serrations over here. Just make sure your safety's down. Yeah, I mean, this thing, trigger, phenomenal. The sights, while they are just regular 3-dot, I mean, they are crisp metal sights. Just look at that. Oh, man, so good. They're not night sights, but as far as standard daytime sights are concerned, non-night sights, these things are fantastic. They are straight up and down. You can rack this thing on your belt. This gun is all day long go-to-war gun. Like, shit hit the fan. Let's fucking go. This thing's what you want one of these in your hand. Full Picatinny rail. I mean, this thing is just amazing, and I wouldn't even think of carrying my SIGs anymore after having this thing. Single action, cocked and locked, come off. Oh, the trigger pull. Reliability that cannot even be touched by most. They can't even dream of it. I mean, this is just an awesome gun. If you guys are interested, highly recommend this gun. It's soft shooting, it's accurate as hell, the trigger is blissful, and I mean, it just looks amazing. It's just all around a solid piece of machinery. They're coming out with new models, can't wait. I mean, this is just a quality company, quality firearm, can't really ask more. And like I said, I don't really care if it's a quote-unquote copy because they made it better. They made it really great, and they made it their own. So, I mean, it's hard to even call it a copy. I mean, it looks like it, but it's just a derivative, guys. I mean, this thing is its own pistol, its own world, and you would not regret having one of these things. And that is your at-home review of the Rex 01. Get yourself one, son. See ya.